Okay, here's the third out of 4 videos explaining the answers to 40 algebra questions. So it was some things multiplied by brackets that you had to expand and simplify. So this one we've got minus y times x minus y squared. So outside the brackets we've got a minus y. Remember, whenever you see a minus, it belongs to the thing that follows it. So that's not a y, it's a minus y. So we're going to multiply minus y by everything inside the brackets. So minus y times x is giving me minus yx, except I'll write that the other way around, minus xy, just to stick to the convention of writing things in alphabetical order. And then minus y times minus y squared gives us plus y cubed, because the minus times the minus makes it a plus. So final answer, minus xy plus y cubed. You might have written that the other way around as y cubed minus xy, but as long as the minus stays behind the xy, then that's the important thing. Question 22. 7p plus 2 minus 3 2p minus 3. So we're going to have to do the multiplying first before we look at the subtraction, because multiplying takes precedence over subtraction or addition. So 7 times everything in this bracket, 7 times p gives me 7p, and 7 times 2 gives me 14. And now the second half of it. Now that's not actually a 3 there, but it's a minus 3 because it's got a minus in front of it, and the minus belongs to the thing that follows it, which is a 3. So that's a minus 3. So we're going to have to do minus 3 times everything in that bracket. Now minus 3 times 2p gives me minus 6p, minus 6p. I've split those up a bit just to keep things in line so that you can see where everything came from in the line above. And then minus 3 times minus 3 gives you plus 9, because minus times minus makes plus. So altogether we've got 7p plus 14 minus 6p plus 9. And we can put together terms that are of the same type. So we've got a 7p there, but then we've got a minus 6p. So 7p together with minus 6p goes together to make 1p. And when it's just 1p, you just write p. And then the numbers, we've got plus 14 there, and we've got plus 9. So plus 14 together with plus 9 makes plus 23. So the final answer is p plus 23. And question 23. Similar sort of structure. So we've got 2 brackets 3p plus 2 minus 3 brackets 2p minus 3. So again, we've got to remember that this 3 in the middle isn't really a 3, it's a minus 3. And we're going to do the multiplying first because that's the correct order of precedence. So we're going to start with 2 times everything in the first bracket. 2 times 3p gives you 6p, and 2 times 2 gives you 4. Now we're going to do minus 3 times everything in the second bracket. So minus 3 times 2p gives you minus 6p, and then minus 3 times minus 3 gives you plus 9, because minus times minus makes plus. So we've got 6p plus 4 minus 6p plus 9. And we're going to try and put together terms that are of the same type. So we've got a 6p here, and then over here we've got a minus 6p. So they actually cancel each other out to give you no p's. So I'm not going to write anything for p, I'm just going to have a blank space because we haven't got any p's. They've cancelled each other out. And then meanwhile, for regular numbers, we've got a 4 there, plus 4 and plus 9. So together they make 13. So the whole thing just boils down to 13, and all of the p's cancel each other out. Question 24. Another similar sort of question. So we've got 3 brackets 2p minus 5 minus 2 brackets 3p minus 3. So again, doing all the multiplying first. 3 times everything in that bracket. So 3 times 2p gives you 6p, and 3 times minus 5 gives you minus 15. Now looking at the next one, that's not a 2, it's a minus 2. So we're going to do minus 2 times everything in those brackets. Minus 2 times 3p gives you minus 6p. And minus 2 times minus 3 gives you plus 6, because minus times minus makes plus. So we've got 6p minus 15 minus 6p plus 6. I'm going to try and put together all of the p terms first. So I've got a 6p here, but I've got a minus 6p here. So put together, they cancel each other out, and we haven't got any p's. And then looking at the regular numbers, I've got a minus 15 here and a plus 6 here. So minus 15 together with plus 6 makes minus 9. So the final answer is minus 9. The p's have all cancelled out. Question 25. 2 brackets p plus 2 minus 3p brackets 2p minus 3. So again, I've got to do the multiplying out first before I think about combining the two bits together. So 2p times everything in this bracket. 2p times p gives you 2p squared. 2p times 2 gives you 4p. And now I'm going to look at the other half. So I've got a 3p here, but actually that's not really a 3p, that's a minus 3p, because whenever you see a minus, it belongs to the thing that follows it. So I've got to do minus 3p times everything in that bracket. So minus 3p times 2p gives you minus 6p squared, and then minus 3p times minus 3 gives you plus 9p, because minus times minus makes plus. So altogether I've got 2p squared plus 4p minus 6p squared plus 9p, and I want to think about putting together terms of the same type to simplify this. So looking at the p squared terms first, I've got 2p squared here, and I've got minus 6p squared here. So 2p squared together with minus 6p squared makes minus 4p squared. And then looking at the p terms, I've got 4p here and I've got 9p here. So 4p together with 9p makes 13p. So final answer, minus 4p squared plus 13p. Question 26. 3p brackets p minus 2 minus 2p brackets 3p minus 2. So again, I'm going to do the multiplying first. So 3p times everything in this bracket. 3p times p gives me 3p squared. 3p times minus 2 gives me minus 6p. Now I'm going to try and multiply out the second one. And remember, that's not actually a 2p there, but it's a minus 2p. So I've got to do minus 2p times everything in the bracket. So minus 2p times 3p will give me minus 6p squared. And minus 2p times minus 2 will give me plus 4p, because minus times minus makes plus. So altogether we've got 3p squared minus 6p squared plus 4p. and I'm going to try and put together terms of the same type. So I'm going to start by collecting the p squared terms. I've got 3 of them here, but I've got minus 6 of them here. So 3p squared minus 6p squared leaves you with minus 3p squared. Now I'm going to put together the p terms. I've got minus 6p here and plus 4p here. So minus 6p together with 4p comes down to minus 2p. So the final answer is minus 3p squared minus 2p. Question 27. 2p times p minus 3 minus 3p times 3p minus 2. So again, doing the multiplying first, 2p times everything in this bracket. 2p times p gives you 2p squared. 2p times minus 3 gives you minus 6p. Now doing the second bit, and remember that's not actually a 3p, but it's a minus 3p, so I'm going to do minus 3p times everything in the bracket. Minus 3p times 3p gives you minus 9p squared, and minus 3p times minus 2 gives you plus 6p, because minus times minus makes plus. So altogether you've got 2p squared minus 6p plus So altogether you've got 2p squared minus 6p minus 9p squared plus 6p. So looking at the p squareds, I've got 2 of them here but minus 9 of them here. So 2p squared together with minus 9p squared makes minus 7p squared. And now looking at the p's, I've got minus 6p here and plus 6p here. So they cancel each other out and the p's disappear. So I'm just left with minus 7p squared. Question 28. 3 brackets x minus 2y minus 2 brackets x minus 3y. So I've got to do 3 times everything in the first bracket and then minus 2 times everything in the second bracket. So doing the first bit first, 3 times x gives me 3x. 3 times minus 2y gives me minus 6y. And then minus 2 times everything in this bracket. Minus 2 times x gives me minus 2x. And minus 2 times minus 3y gives me plus 6y, because minus times minus makes plus. So gathering together all of the x's, I've got 3 x's here and minus 2 x's there. So together they make 1x, which I just write as x. And then looking at the y's, I've got minus 6y here and plus 6y here. So they just cancel each other out and disappear. So the final answer is x. Question 29. 2 brackets 3x plus 1 minus 5 brackets 2x minus 3. So again, doing the multiplying first, I'm going to start with 2 times everything in this bracket. 2 times 3x is 6x, 2 times 1 is 2. Now I'm going to do minus 5 times everything in this bracket. So minus 5 times 2x gives me minus 10x. And then minus 5 times minus 3 gives you plus 15, because minus times minus makes plus. So altogether I've got 6x plus 2 minus 10x plus 15. I'll try and gather together the terms of the same type now. So 6x together with minus 10x gives me minus 4x. And 2 together with 15 gives me 17. So the final answer is minus 4x plus 17. Okay, so the final question for this video, x times x squared minus 2y minus 3x squared times x plus 2y. So again, starting with the multiplying, I've got to do x times everything in this bracket. So x times x squared gives me x cubed, and x times minus 2y gives me minus 2xy. I've tried to stick to the convention of writing it xy in alphabetical order rather than yx there. And then the second one, so I've got to do minus 3x squared times everything in that bracket. So minus 3x squared times x gives me minus 3x cubed, and then minus 3x squared times 2y gives me minus 6x squared y, because the 2 times the minus 3 is giving me the minus 6. The x squared was already there, and the y was there inside the bracket. So minus 6x squared y. So altogether we've got x cubed minus 2xy minus 3x cubed minus 6x squared y. So there's lots of different terms of different types there. All of those x squared y's, xy's, x cubed are distinct different types that you can't mix up. And in fact there are only two terms there that are of the same type as each other. X cubed and minus 3x cubed. So they're both x cubed terms which you can put together. 1x cubed here, minus 3x cubed here, altogether makes minus 2x cubed. And then I've put the next term as minus 6x squared y, which is that one there, minus 6x squared y. And then the last term as minus 2xy, which was directly from there. So I've tried to stick to a convention there of having the x's in decreasing power order. So I've had x cubed, x squared, and then single x. So it's all right if you've got the individual terms in a different order, as long as you've got the minuses in front of them. So minus 2x cubed minus 6x squared y minus 2xy. The same thing but with the terms in a different order would be perfectly fine.